So I have set up my preparation area in my studio. I have carpet on my floor, so I've put a drop sheet down because this can be quite a messy business. I also have a big plastic tin, which is really good for gathering the waste. I have my Stanley knife, a pair of sharp scissors, and a hi-hi. There is a video in our series of lessons that shows you how I make my hi-hi. They're really handy things to have if you don't trust your eye to make your weaving strips or your whenua all the same width. And it's very important that the widths that you're working with are exactly the same size. So I'm right-handed, so I like to place all of my gathered leaves on my left side, and so I can work from left to right in a methodical manner. It's really important to get into the good habit right now of working in a neat and methodical manner. So using my Stanley knife, I'm going to go through and firstly cut off the take, cut off the hard end or the butt end of the flax. Now if you have a good look, you can see that it's joined together and it goes down on an angle. So don't cut straight across where it starts to join, because you're actually losing a good 30 centimetres of weavable flax there. I like to cut it off about the halfway mark down there on an angle. So I put my waste in one pile and the leaves that I've cut in another pile. Actually. So I'll go through and I will first, while I've got the knife in my hand, cut off the take, the hard butt end. Oops. If you're short on space to work in, it's really important that you always work in a neat and methodical manner. And you don't want anyone stepping over your flax. And so put yourself in a spot where people don't have to walk over you. I'm only going to do a few leaves so you can get on with your work. So put my knife away. So I now put these leaves with the take cut off back onto my left side and move the take away. What you might want to do is to cut these take up small and put them back on the garden. Now this is where we can talk about the returning of the waste material to the flax. Quite often you might be gathering some from somebody else's garden, and a lot of times people don't like the waste to be returned to their garden, and so you need to dispose of this in another way. Now I have been asked, what do you do with your waste if you're not putting it back on the flax plant? I actually send it off to the tip, to the rubbish dump. And some people might be shocked to hear that, but honestly it's probably the best thing in the tip. When you think of all the plastics and all the rubbish that goes to the tip, the flax is the nicest thing there. So I could, if I wanted to, put that on my garden and to keep the weeds down. Right, the next stage is to take off the back and the sides. So just a small amount. Run your hands all the way through, put that in a pile and take a bit off that edge. I like to leave this joined together for now, and the good flax goes in one pile and the waste goes in a separate pile. Try to keep them quite separate. And again, don't take off too much, because the more you take off, the less you have to work with. This is very clean flax. It might be that you come across some flax that is quite insect eaten, and you have to work around that. The more often you gather flax from a plant, the healthier the leaves will become. So just persevere with a plant that may look diseased or may look insect ridden. It's almost like the insects know that you're going to come back and again, and so they stay away. Okay, here's one here that I have to work around. So I'll take the back off and maybe take off a little bit more here. Just take off that insect eating part. This is a very good flax for weaving because it's quite wide, so I can get a lot of weaving strips or whenua from this one leaf. So there are so many varieties of flax, and all of those varieties produce different, well, flaxes of different qualities. And you will use a lot of flax over your time weaving with me, and so you need to find a flax that is suitable for you. This one here is quite fibrous. If I run my fingers over it like that, I can feel the lines of fibre running through it. So it's going to be quite a strong flax. But it's also going to be quite hard to do the preparation of in the next step, which I'm going to show you in the next video. Right, now that I've gone through all of those leaves, I'm going to take out one of my off-cut things here and bundle up my waste. Again, it's working in a neat and methodical manner, something that I find is very, very important. So that's waste.